Yo, 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 and welcome back to the Banter Boys podcast. My name is Sanji. With me is Ryan. How you doing, boy?
Welcome. I'm good. It is Eid, so it's a public holiday in Trinidad. I was able to look at some Champions League, yo.
Nice. How'd you enjoy your day off?
It was quiet. Tried to study. Tried to do something productive.
Was the trying successful?
No, it wasn't.
Nice.
And then UCL starts with the lineups dropping early, and then you get distracted, and then it's all over.
Yeah, gotta set your fantasy lineups and yeah.
Exactly.
So it goes. Yeah, man. Eid Mubarak to all our Fantrax brothers and sisters. Whoever celebrates it. We don't often celebrate things on this pod, I think. Do we? I don't know where I was going with this. Anyways. I'm tired, man. We're approaching the end of the season. Like, I'm at this point, I'm like kind of ready for the summer to hit. Also, like, so I think only like one of my leagues is kind of relevant at this point. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm ready for it to be done.
Yeah, it was a long season so far. Not over yet.
Yeah. We did a lot of. I was looking back at it, and we did a lot of episodes this season.
Yeah. I mean, shorter episodes, but still takes a lot.
It still takes a lot. Yeah.
And you're in way more leagues than usual.
Yeah. Well, the new ones were Dynasty and the unexpected taking over somebody else's team thing, right? So
yeah,
it should have been 4, but it is what it is. We'll see what happens next season. Anyways, guys, welcome back to the Banter Boys podcast. So we are back with a regular format episode. So if you're new to this, so we're a default Fantrax pod. Typically how we do these episodes is we have 2 halves. In the first half, we do a bit of a data dump. And we haven't done one in like the last 3 game weeks. So we're gonna try and have an overview of the last 3 game weeks. And it's the same thing with our league updates, which will be following our data dump. So just to kind of see where we're at in our leagues, how our assets have fared and what we're planning to do for the upcoming game weeks. And another double game week also got confirmed, double game week 37, and it's a playoff double game week, right? So maybe we can have some chats around that. And then we'll take our halftime pint. And then in the second half, we'll answer some questions that we get from our Discord community. If you're not a part of that already, please come join. It's buzzing every single day, and there's channels for everything. Football, cricket, food, people bragging about their vacations. Like, it's a lovely mini community that we've kind of built. But yeah, just DM me for a link. I'll send you a link, and happy to help you out. And yeah, we answer questions, lineup dilemmas, all sorts of stuff. And yeah, that's about it. As you know, if you're a regular listener, you would also know that we did our waiver pod earlier this week as well for game week 33. So if you're looking for waiver pick advice, I would definitely suggest go back and listen to that if you haven't already. But again, if you have and you're still confused, come find us in the Discord. Best place for us to answer any sort of questions that you might have. Before we continue though, I'm gonna get Ross to do all the social plug biz. So Ross, please do that right here.
Yeah, for sure. So you can message us on Twitter and Instagram. Our handles at BanterB. On Discord in the Draft PL channel, BanterBoys #6585. On Reddit, /Banter_boys. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, and YouTube, all under the name of Banter Boys.
So hopefully you've listened to Ross. If you're listening to us on Spotify, if you don't mind going onto our homepage and giving us a rating of 5 stars, we truly appreciate it. As well as on YouTube, if you don't mind hitting that like button for the video, every little bit counts and helps us. And we'd also appreciate if you could hit that follow button or subscribe button. I mean, even if you listen to us on Spotify, if you don't mind taking a few seconds, go to the YouTube platform and just follow. Even if you don't listen to us on YouTube, it just helps us out, right? All we're asking is for the click of a button. Cool. All the business out of the way. We're recording on a Champions League night, like you mentioned earlier. Yesterday, both Arsenal and City played. Exciting results, man.
Oh, yeah. I wish they still had the home and away goal rule.
Right?
3-3 and 2-3, man.
It feels like those games don't matter with the away goals.
They
like,
don't, yeah.
It's just like, okay, well, then winner takes it all next one.
Correct. So
Yeah.
we just start from scratch again.
Yeah, which is kind of boring.
Correct. I would have loved to see City with those 3 away goals. Decent advantage.
Yeah.
And Arsenal too, right?
Well, Arsenal would have conceded
Arsenal-
the 2 away.
Yeah. Arsenal would have been home. So
Yeah. Yeah, I was telling like an Arsenal fan about that. Like I miss the drama of the away goals, and they were
Correct.
like, "No, screw that shit." Like,
it's arguably better for the players too, because it's possible these games go to extra time now. They play that much more football.
but that's always been the goal, right? Of all these higher ups is we just want more football.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, look at the Champions League structure for next season. The madness.
Yeah. Ugh, I am not ready to unpack that yet.
Could you imagine what fantasy will look like? It's like not going to be that short of a game anymore.
Yeah.
Way more options.
Yeah. You're gonna have to be even more tactical with the chips. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be carnage. All right. I think let's get started though with our first segment, which is the data dump.
Ay, 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 ay. Fantasy with the Banta Boys.
Okay, so we're gonna look back at the previous 3 game weeks. We'll basically just look at like who kind of topped each category, right? And then we'll look at like who has the most form over the past 3 game weeks. Again, we're just looking at like either the top performer or the top 2. Because if there was like the 3rd and 4th, and like it's just gonna be too much for people to absorb number wise. So we'll try to even dissect this so it's easy to kind of listen to as well. So we're gonna start with key passes. I will go through like game week by game week by game week, and then the form data. So the player that topped game week 30 for key passes, there were 2 of them, Andreas Pereira and Jensen. They both got 6 key passes each. In game week 31, Cole Palmer topped with key passes. He had 8 of them. And then there were 7 key passes by Pascal Gross and Andreas Pereira again. And then in game week 32, our Blaster was the only player to get 5 key passes. He topped that game week. But if you look at the past 3 game weeks, the player that stands out on top is Andreas and Palmer with 15 key passes each. Thoughts, Ren?
Andreas is delivering for the people who have the faith. And it's surprising because to me, I didn't think Fulham were doing that well over the past 3 game weeks.
Yeah, after we bigged them up, they decided to just shut up shop, and we're like, fuck it.
Yeah, basically. Cool, man. What an asset you guys have.
What a draft asset in general.
Correct. That 31 was his hat trick, was it? It must have been.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
last game week he only got the assist, right?
Right. And
This
then
is the
game week
mighty
before that.
Blaster, so.
So I think he had like a lot of key passes the game week before as well. So he's just ghosting out of his mind.
Yeah.
Like, take away the returns, it's like a lot of ghosts still.
I mean, he's showing 1-1 overall form in a draft. But do you think anyone has the balls to take him at 1-1?
No chance. No way.
But he's putting up the numbers, so why wouldn't you? Like, I mean, you're looking at rest of season, playing in regular league format, playoffs, like, if you're trying to trade in Palmer right now, I mean, it'd be crazy if anyone was willing to trade him out. But if you're trading him in, what are you expecting to give up? Like, what would you have to give up, you'd think?
You'd have to give up like a Son or something, like, because Palmer has the most fixtures, right?
Yeah.
Chelsea and Spurs have a ton of fixtures left. Chelsea don't rotate really because there's no really midweek games for them.
Well, and everyone else is injured, so who is there to rotate with? So
Fair. Son is also nailed of that ilk, but I don't know, like, even Son is too little.
would you give up Holland?
Yeah, I don't even think you're going to get Palmer for Holland.
That's crazy. Would you give up Bruno?
I personally wouldn't still.
Yeah. Barca just scored a third. Nice.
Yep. Yep.
So, yeah, I'm just wondering what would you throw? Would you throw maybe
Saka?
Watkins +1?
Ooh. Don't know if that gets you him easily. Has to be a decent-ish one.
You're mentioning Saka?
Yeah, I'd say Saka is like, that's enticing. And then it's really just like, Arsenal have a lot of games left. Maybe the Saka owner, doesn't trust him to play all games, but Palmer should, right?
Yeah, you'd expect that he does.
So that's kind of what you're trading to get. Security of starts and...
Man, I'd throw the kitchen sink to get Palmer.
Fair. Off a corner, man. Andreas Christensen.
Chelsea legend. All right, let's look at shots and how many were on target. So in game week 30, Salah topped with shots. He had 12 of them, 4 on target. Palmer and Tony each had 9 shots attempted. Palmer with 4 on target. Tony with 0 on target, which is mental. 0 of 9. That's like Darwin Nunez form. Game week 31, Palmer again had the most shots. He had 9 of them, 5 on target. Then 7 shots attempted by Julian Alvarez, who had 3 on target. Darwin Nunez had 2 of his 7 on target. Then game week 32, 2 players topped with 6 shots each. Luis Diaz with 2 of them on target, and Mo Salah with 3 of his 6 on target. But then if you look at the past 3 game weeks accumulated, Salah attempted the most shots with 21. He had 9 of them on target. And then in second place, Cole Palmer, 20 shots attempted, 10 on target. Thoughts, Ryan?
Yeah, there was some serious points dodging in game week 30. Like, I think that was a new record for Salah for sure. Maybe, possibly even a Liverpool player or something. But 12 shots, so many big chances missed, I think, if I remember correctly. Only 1 goal. Like, owners must feel unlucky with that one.
Yeah.
Same with Tony, right? Tony had a good few big chances, and I think that was the game he played you guys, right? Was it you guys?
Let me check.
Or was it United?
In game week 30?
It was United.
Yeah, it was United. The 1-0. So that was the game they absolutely dominated. And then United had that jammy fucking goal from Mount. And then Brentford equalized with Ayer, I think, right? Tony got the assist.
Yeah, Tony got the assist.
Yeah.
But it still felt like points dodging because the dominance.
They hit, like, I think Tony hit the crossbar and Buemo hit the crossbar. Like, yeah, it was absolute dominance.
But like, Salah and Palmer just absolutely shined during this period. Like, Salah probably didn't have a great game in 31 because he got subbed off early. He looked annoyed at Klopp, but yeah, it makes sense that they're up there.
Yeah, I mean, Salah showing up twice, Palmer showing up twice.
Yeah, nuts at Palmer top 2 categories. The 2 categories you'd want him to top.
Yeah,
over the past 3 game weeks.
Yeah. I would love to see or hear about anyone that is either attempting to get Palmer or has successfully traded to get Palmer. I just want to know like what you did to get that done. So
I'm just gonna send it out now.
I say
Haaland
do
for
it,
Palmer,
man.
and let's see what happens.
Yeah, honestly. Like, even if it gets rejected, like, just DM and be like, what do you want for Palmer? What can I offer? Like, I just want to see where managers' heads are at right now.
Yeah.
Cool. Next category, accurate crosses into the box. So, Gusto and Jensen topped accurate crosses in Game Week 30. They both had 3. Game Week 31, 3 was the highest number again by Elliot and Andreas P. And then Game Week 32, there was 4 accurate crosses by McGinn. But if you look at the past 3 game weeks, in total, 5 accurate crosses by Bailey, Morgan Gibbs-White, and Townsend. Thoughts?
To me, I'm just shocked that our boy Doughty doesn't come up at all.
Yeah.
It kind of highlights the fact that Luton have been riddled with injuries and not as good as they've been in the past, right? Like, yes, they scraped out that win.
Against
Was it
Bournemouth.
last game week? Yeah,
Yeah.
against Bournemouth.
Yeah.
But they're not scoring as many as they were. Dortmund scored one.
Ah,
Time.
fuck off. I was really hoping for that Oblak clean sheet, but yeah.
Still, good to see Andreas again popping up. Gusto, his injury came at a bad time for Chelsea and his owners. Jensen kind of made some hot flashes and then faded again. But overall, not that surprised by it.
Yeah, not really surprised. It's funny that, like, you look at who topped each of the 3 game weeks and they don't appear in that form one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Extra outlier stuff. So we'll take it, I guess, what is it? Category by category, right? We won't do like the full list for 30, full list for 31, etc. So let's just look at tackles 1, etc. Right? So if we look at tackles 1, in Game Week 30, there was Bradley, João Gomes, and Kudus. Game Week 31, Mitchell topped the tackles 1. And in 32, João Gomes again topped tackles 1 with 6. So no surprising, over the past 3 game weeks, the highest number of tackles 1 was 15 by João Gomes. So he would have gotten 5 in Game Week 30 and 6 in Game Week 32. Quick thoughts?
Yeah, I think it just highlights João Gomes as a decent, steady Eddie kind of option.
Yeah.
And shocking to see Kudus on this list at least once.
Yeah.
That's not typically where you would expect Kudus to stand out. Mitchell's been ghosting better recently, but had a really tough game last week. I grabbed, and I was going to hold for the double game week, and then you kind of pointed out that defensively, the double isn't that good for them.
Yeah.
So I dropped, but not against, like, I prefer Munoz, right? Like, that's the one I'd want.
Yeah, I still think Munoz also has the bigger attacking threat as well.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like you mentioned, like, I wouldn't be against, like, having João Gomes for that double game week in 34, right?
Yes.
Because he's showing that steady Eddie value, you can expect maybe at least 10 points from him altogether.
Exactly.
So maybe possibly the same with Mitchell as well. Like, let's say your opponent has a Crystal Palace defender like Munoz. Maybe you go with a Mitchell if Mitchell's showing these counting stats, you know? So just food for thought. Dispossessions. So Bruno G. Muniz, the Fulham forward, and Paqueta topped Game Week 30 with 5 dispossessions each. Reinhard Nuri topped Game Week 31 with 6 dispossessions. And in Game Week 32, Kudus topped with 7 dispossessions. Altogether, over the past 3 game weeks, Paqueta topped with 13 dispossessions in total. Quick thoughts?
Paqueta does surprise me. That's new-ish.
Yeah, it seems so.
Kudus doesn't surprise me, and that's kind of more where I expect him to be, right? Successful dribbles and dispossessions. Bruno G has slowly and quietly been having a great season.
Yeah.
And he's not been talked about enough this season, in my opinion. Like, nobody tried to trade him in at any point. Nobody really highlighted that when key injuries came, he would probably have to step up, and he did.
Yeah.
Just one that I personally think I missed as well. But Nori been great over that spell. Got a couple assists, and then now he's injured. So I'm not too surprised by the list. It's just good assets, I think, all across the board.
Yeah. I mean, we expect like the dribbling numbers from Nuri and Kudus, right? So it's no surprise that they're being dispossessed.
Correct.
Yeah. Cool. Interceptions. So in Game Week 30, there was a high of 4 by Tyler Adams, Kwanzaa, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Game Week 31, there was a high of 5 by Danilo. Game Week 32, there was a high of 5 by Edson Alvarez and Tosin Adarabioyo. Altogether, past 3 game weeks, Aaron Wan-Bissaka had the most interceptions, 9 of them. Thoughts?
Doesn't surprise me. Wan-Bissaka is a beast when he plays.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what he's good at, right? Tackles, those last-ditch ones, and then interceptions especially.
Yeah.
He shines. Pretty standard list, I'd say.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just wondering. There's no double game week players here, is there? Maybe I wouldn't say Kwanzaa's one, right? Because you're not expecting 2 games from him. And
No.
I would say the same thing about Tyler Adams as well.
Yeah, agreed.
Right? Okay. Yeah, so fairly standard stuff. Clearances. Game week 30, there was a high of 11 by Holgate. Game week 31, there was a high of 12 by Holgate. Game week 32, there was a high of 13 by Shar. If you look at the past 3 game weeks in total, Holgate obviously stands top with 24, but tied with him is Anderson of Crystal Palace. Thoughts?
I'm surprised by Holgate being there twice, but I'm also surprised by he ending on 24, but he put up 23 in those first 2 game weeks. But I think the standard characters, Cher and Anderson, not surprised there.
So Holgate would have played against us.
He did play, yeah.
He just didn't clear anything. Cool.
So that's what it kind of signifies, right? Like that Chelsea did not make it such that Sheffield had that much work to do compared to the previous opponents.
Yeah, he probably had like 1 clearance. So I'm just wondering, like, double game week, you rolling out Holgate?
Definitely not.
I mean, you love a double.
But they aren't worth enough points for me to go chasing. I wish they were with like 0.5 of clearance.
Yeah. Default is 0.25, right? So,
Yeah.
Successful dribbles. So game week 30, Rodri topped with 7 of them. Game week 31, Bruno G topped with 7 of them. And then game week 32, Iwobi and Luis Diaz both got 6 successful dribbles. You look at the past 3 game weeks, Kudus stands tall with 14 successful dribbles. Thoughts?
So here's exactly where you expect Kudus, but you do not expect to ever see Rodri and Bruno G here. Like,
Yeah.
weird game weeks.
The Rodri one for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Bruno G, maybe.
We've seen it before from him, so flashes, not consistent, but
Exactly.
Iwobi has been putting up a lot more dribbles these days. Topped in game week 32. Good to see. I have benched him a lot these past few game weeks. The one time I played, I got burned.
Yeah, I mean, wait, did you play him when Marco Silva did that triple sub shit?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess Iwobi kind of got his shit together and then put in a good performance again. But yeah, no real surprises otherwise. Aerials, game week 30, a high of 9 by DCL and Zanka. Game week 31, a high of 11 by Byrne. Game week 32, a high of 12 by McBurney. Past 3 game weeks, highest was McBurney with 22 of them. Thoughts?
Ollie McBurney, I'm still so shocked he had not played the entire season, like game in, game out.
Yeah.
Such a threat aerially.
Yeah.
I mean, Byrne, DCL, Zanka, big guys, not surprised there.
Yeah. McBurney double game week 34 option.
Definitely.
Agreed. Finally, block shots. Game week 30, there was a high of 3 by Disasi, Dunk, Jan Paul Van Heck, and Varane. 31, there was a high of 3 block shots by Longley and Menji. Game week 32, 2 block shots by Casemiro, Danilo, Menu, Smith, Van Heck, and Aaron, 1 Bissaka. And then past 3 game weeks, block shots altogether, highest person or highest number was 6 by Van Heck. Thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about this category. It's good and bad, right? Like the fact that you had to block the most shots and you're a Brighton defender. Is that like target Brighton? They're letting in a lot of shots? So is that like,
Yeah, I mean, that's
okay, you're forcing them to take shots from outside the box or far away where it's easier to block and they're panicking and not carving you open or something.
I mean, in game week 30 they played Liverpool, game week 31 they played Brentford, game week 32 they played Arsenal.
Whoa, okay.
So I think the data matches up the opponents in that sense.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some good ghosting assets there. Van Hecker is one. Menu had a great game. Wan Bissaka puts in the defensive shift. Dunk has been ghosting better these days.
Yeah. I grabbed him in the league, actually,
Oh yeah?
for Burnley.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then I think Casemiro is just worthy. Like, I have him in the league. I dropped. Because I was just never using him. But like he's worthy of that mid-4, even mid-3 position because he's so consistent. Like he delivers 8 to 10 pretty much every game week.
He's not the mid-2 that we thought he was going to be this season, though.
No, he's dropped in value, yes.
Yeah.
And injury played a part of that, but...
Yeah, and lots of Nutella. Or whatever the fuck he's eating.
Oh, is that it?
I don't know, mate, but he looks so slow, old, like, unfit. I just assume if the player is unfit, it's Nutella. It is the Higuain diet, so... Or
Fair
the
enough.
Hazard one. One of the Chelsea players, yeah. Anyways, that's data dump. I think what we'll do now is move on to our next segment, which is league updates. All right, Ryan. So this is going to be a bit of a mouthful, earful or whatever, but again, we'll try to get through it as succinctly as possible. So let's start with our DPL league.
Yeah, so lost in 30, lost in 31, and then a win finally in 32. Luckily, that means I maintain my lead, and I have a 6-point lead now, not 9. Over the course of these 3-game weeks, they had some standout options. I think, like, Rodri's been consistent. He's there every single week. Darwin for 2 of the weeks, Bowen for 2 of the weeks, White every single week, McAllister pretty much every week. Haaland and Mbuemo only that final week, and it kind of highlights how I've kind of dropped wins in those first 2 weeks because my top pick Haaland was either not playing or not performing, right? Game week regrets. That City versus Arsenal game where it ended 0-0, I benched a lot of points that game week, and it was like 40-something points on my bench. Had I played those assets, probably would have won. But I still backed the decision. On paper, it didn't make sense to me to play, say, Ben White versus City. Leno had a really bad 30 and 31, finished negative in both, especially 31 where he finished with -4. I lost by just 2 points in 31, so that one especially hurt.
Oh.
Yeah. But you know what? In game week 32, I started to make good decisions again, or maybe my team just had a more straightforward game week. But my only regret there was benching Share. who smashed it, by the way, and had a goal ruled off. Roster concerns, I don't recall my roster concerns from 30 and 31.
Same.
But contrary to what the entire season had, with me and just 3 defenders, I now have 6 defenders. I don't actually want to use any of them besides, say, Ben White, week on, week off. So I will be fixing that. And I kind of did by dropping Mitchell, and I got Brereton Diaz in for the double. And he doesn't have a bad game week this week, but probably not going to play him. And I also dropped Jacob Murphy, who I can't time his hauls at all. He's just up and down, inconsistent. So I got Steady Eddie Joao Gomes. Again, to probably play him this game week because Bowen is injured, but also looking ahead to the double game week where I think he can put up easily 10 points over those 2 games, if not more.
Yeah, great grabs, man. Yeah, I definitely do sympathize with you losing your first pick, because I lost one of my 2 picks. Like, I could say arguably my first pick as well, because Trippier has been out as well, right? So it kind of does emphasize how important streaming can be in your game weeks, especially to make up for those double-digit hauls that your first pick would typically give you. But I mean, looking at the standings, you're still first. You still got a 6-point gap, so the march continues, right? You've just gotta win the next. What is it? How many games are left this season?
Probably 8? No, is that right?
6?
Feels like more.
It does feel like more, doesn't it? No, but yeah, 32 games down, right? So 33
Yeah, true.
to
Yeah,
38. So
6.
you got to win the next, what? At least the next 3 to 4?
Yeah,
Next 4?
exactly.
And then you've sealed it, right? So please don't leave it until the last game week of the season where you have to face me. Like, I don't want that responsibility, because I'm gonna try and throw my team and then it's still gonna beat you, and then I'll feel like crap.
The Hail Mary plays on, let's see, like Ings.
Yeah.
And then Ings scores a hat trick.
Yeah, there you go, right? Just play the most random players you never ever fathom of starting in a game week. So start my Harvey Elliott's, like
Right.
Jacob Murphy's. Yeah. But yeah, I think you're fine, mate. It's glad that you kind of were able to bounce back after those 2 losses. You kind of caught yourself in a sense, but also now Holland's back, so perfect timing for the run-in.
Exactly, agreed. And then double game weeks for 37 announced. So, more things to eye up and keep an eye on.
Yeah. I mean, ideally, if you can not depend on game week 37, like avoid that chaos and that carnage, that would be fantastic. Like if the league is sealed up by then, you're just chilling.
For sure. And it's not that we didn't know the fixtures, right? They just became confirmed, so they're probably in the game now. I haven't even checked, but that's all it is.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing I do want to highlight, though, my game week 31 lost by 2 points. That was when Holland didn't play that game. I ended up grabbing Reece Nelson when I was faced with a decision between him and Smith Rowe. Got that one very wrong, but geez, there were so many things that week that I could have easily gotten the win off of.
And you lost that game week because of the last fucking moment in that Chelsea United game as well.
Yeah, that bloody
the Enzo assist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It was kind of wild. All right. So for me, DPL League, I had 2 losses and then a win. So similar form to you. But for me, I think the season's pretty much over. Because right now
I still think you can chase second. I still think it's within grasp.
It's like 12 points away.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was 9. Okay, fine. Third.
Third. I'll take third. I'll take third. But right now I'm in sixth. On 51 points. Third place, like we just said, is 9 points ahead. Yeah, I just want to have a respectable finish. Top 4 at least. Like I'll take that. I just want to be in and around the content creators in our group, right? I don't want to look like the one fraud, which I am. But in like in terms of like looking at the goods and stuff like that, game week 30, I guess a decent spread of points, whatever, so nothing to really brag about. But it's so sad that game week 31, Raya was my only game week good. He was my top scoring asset of 11 points. And he showed up again with another double digit score in game week 32. But yeah, that just kind of summarizes my season. It's been really, really poor, man. And like I mentioned, I also lost my first pick to injury, Trippier. So that has been like one of my biggest concerns, is like having trips on my bench, like even holding Jota throughout his injury. So only having those 3 additional spots to kind of play with, and then being faced with these unexpected curveballs, like, you know, Meffa missing out because he's sick, Tony being benched randomly. I don't know why at one point I had 2 goalkeepers. I think I was trying to just block other managers in our league, because I had Kelleher and I had David Raya, and they both had like double game weeks on the horizon, right? So my thinking is like, oh, maybe let me just block some other managers, cause some chaos or whatever. But it just, I guess, ended up kind of fucking me up in a sense. In terms of like regrets looking back as well, like benching Jensen's 20 for Livermento's negative 1.5 in game week 30. So this would have been Newcastle versus West Ham, the first game of the game week, the 3-all. I think I was hiking then. I was in Wales then.
Right.
But it's like you said, not being able to time Jensen's points, right? Because he was on shit form. He came back banged, which I benched him for. Then I started him the next game, and then he did fuck all. I think he got 2 points or something, right? In a 3-all like draw with Villa or something like that. It was either last game week or the week before. But yeah, it's just been difficult trying to predict some players' like bouncy form, man. Game week 31, benching Douglas Luiz. I feel like maybe for next season, it's one of those things where if you've got like a consistent performing mid, do you definitely start him regardless of the fixture, especially one on set pieces and stuff like that. But, you know, I had the same sort of logic with Eze versus Man City, right? And I started Eze and he got 0.5. So, yeah, I mean, as much as you want to use logic and metrics and data and all that stuff to make decisions, sometimes football's unpredictable, and I guess you can't just beat yourself up over it, right? You just gotta believe in your decisions and just see them through and, yeah, hope for the best sort of thing. Yeah, nothing else I kind of want to discuss, I guess, other than like my waiver picks. So I dropped Smith and Senesi, and I grabbed Dunk and Roslev. So I thought about like maybe holding these guys for the double game week, but I was like, fuck it, I'm not really playing for the top 2 spots. I just want to win game week to game week, and if I do that, chances are I could also help you win your title in a sense by keeping the other people away from you. So that was kind of been my focus. I'm just going to look at one game week ahead. I'm not going to try and plan too early ahead. Because, like, look, Mefem got sick. You thought Senesi was going to come back. Senesi was on the bench, didn't make an appearance. So, like, it's just absolute carnage there. So, yeah. Do you want to give your Banter League update?
Okay, sure. Gladly. Banter League was great. Win. Game week 30, I scored 166. Game week 31, I scored 140. Game week 32, I only scored 82, but still managed to win. I think I only have a 3-point lead in that league, though.
Oh, wow.
The player in second actually has like a 12-game winning streak or something. Yeah.
Jeez, who is that?
Sean?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What a stormer. It came out of nowhere.
From nowhere. I think he was like 8th or 9th, and then he went on this run.
Amazing.
So it's close. I think in terms of points for, I'm like 500 better than the next person, though.
Oh, wow.
The assets I had there that performed well: Palmer, Bowen, Bruno. Dalo pretty much consistently performed each. Oh, and I picked up Chris Wood for free. And
That's mental.
yeah,
Chris Wood actually has a great run in for playoffs, like in terms
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
fixtures. And Bruno showing up at the right time, man. I'm so happy for any manager that has playoffs and owns them.
agreed. Yeah, not much to talk about in terms of regrets because I won everything. In terms of, that didn't mean it to sound like that.
It's exactly what it sounded like.
In terms of roster concerns, I am carrying too many forwards now. It's kind of like I just grabbed a forward to kind of compensate for having no forwards. So Richarlison was out. I think he's still kind of in and out. But I own Enciso and João Pedro because João Pedro didn't start one game, started it, and then didn't start again. But I got Wood and Muniz. Huang I picked up for no reason. So yeah, I'm probably going to drop, I don't know, Enciso. I don't think Enciso's worth a hold.
Yeah.
And I'll just firm up the mid or something.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say drop Huang.
Yeah, I know. The only kind of move I did this game week was I dropped Bob because I grabbed Bob because he was starting to get back Estupinian, who I dropped to get Bob in the first place. So it was kind of just a shuffle to get him back.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have an illegal roster then at the moment?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. It's 7, I think, for
Yeah.
illegal. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that because I've done it multiple times.
So many.
So for me in IGL, a bit of an exciting time right now, right? Because this league has playoffs, and playoffs is right around the corner. So I had 1 win, 1 loss, 1 win. So I'll take the 2 wins versus the 2 losses in DPL. In terms of game week good, like we mentioned, Bruno shows up in all 3 game weeks. He's really come strong. And I guess like United are just trying to fight for European spot, right? So it's perfect timing in that sense. In terms of regrets, I had a similar regret to you in that City Arsenal game. I benched Kiwi's clean sheets there. And game week 31, I kept Mepham even though he was sick because I thought, he's such a great ghoster, and the double game weeks and stuff on the horizon. But then 32, he was still missing from the team. So I was just like, what was I holding on for in that sense? In game week 32, the only regret I think was doubling up on Liverpool defense against United, especially given VVD's form. Have you noticed it, by the way?
I have not.
Like, you should take a look, or any listener should take a look at VVD and even Tarkowski's form. Both centre-backs not scoring very well at the moment.
Okay, if that's what you meant, I saw it for Tarkowski.
Yeah. So Tarkowski definitely has been struggling, but if you look at Verge's scores, last game week 0.75, before that 1, before that 1.75, before that 6.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's not been good.
So Liverpool on a whole have kind of been up and down, right? Like Robo's doing well, but
Yeah.
Bradley had that one good game in 30 and then dropped off basically. Well,
Well, he scored
had
the own goal.
Yeah.
But I would say he has been the best ghoster, right? Like, just off the top of my head, I feel like he's been putting down the most ghost points from that Liverpool defense.
I want to say probably Robo.
Oh, fair. I mean, Robo has an assist in there as well, right?
Yeah, he has an assist and he is on corners, so that
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah, that does help. But, there was these run of fixtures that I thought Liverpool would get clean sheets, and they didn't. It's been quite frustrating, honestly, especially when you're doubled up on Liverpool defense, regardless of goalkeeper and centre-back, that sort of thing.
Right, yeah.
Because you'd think they would have gotten at least 2.
one.
Well, yeah, at least 1 even in the last, 4 games? Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Other than that, no real roster concerns and stuff like that because I kind of got more wins and losses. And in terms of FA waiver pick moves, again, I kind of just focused on the coming game week. I just wanted to get one win after the other instead of focusing too far ahead. So there is like a bit of slight regret with this because I made these moves and then found out about the injury to what's his face?
Tavernier?
Yeah. So I dropped Smith, Kelly, Kwanzaa, and Dango Ouattara. So the regret is dropping Dango. And I grabbed Vissa, Roslev, Van Heck, and Wharton.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. Except for the Dango one, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
But Wiss is on 4, man.
Yeah.
I also dropped a while back.
Yeah.
Because I have Mbuemo.
Yeah. So I kind of grabbed as well because I'm going to the Brentford Sheffield United game this weekend.
Oh,
so I've got 5 Brentford assets in this team.
Right.
I've
Of
got
course you do.
Vissa, Mbuemo, and Tony. And then in defense, I've got Roslev and Reguilon. So
Of course.
I'm just like going to go enjoy myself at that game.
Watch it be Sheffield United.
Like 5-0.
Ben Diaz hat trick.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
There you go.
McBurney brace or something nonsense.
Yeah, I would not doubt that. Like, I wouldn't put it past fucking fantasy football to do that to me. In terms of
Still
like,
would be a fun watch though.
yeah, it'll be great. It'll be great. In terms of like just overall like standings and stuff, where so I am in 4th place right now. So 3rd to 6th go to playoffs. So 4th place on 51 points. And then 6th place is on 48 points, 7th place on 45 points. So it's still kind of tight in that sense.
Right.
I think I just need to focus again, just try to win every game week one after the other. Don't look too far ahead. Once I think I've kind of sealed a playoff spot, I think I'm just going to start planning for that last 3 game weeks. So like if I'm 6 points ahead in that sense, right? If I can like nail that spot by like the end of game week 34 in that sense, like game week 35 is a complete throwaway, I'm just going to start hoarding players for like even the double game week 37 in that sense as well.
Yeah, makes sense. So as you bring that up, DPL, they're trade banning after game week 33.
Yes. Great point.
So like we mentioned earlier, I'm gonna throw out Haaland for Bruno and I'm gonna throw out Haaland for Palmer right now.
Yeah.
And maybe Saka too. I don't expect to get any.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like if a manager really thinks Haaland is going to hit back form, City are going for the title still, and they just want a better forward, maybe I get lucky. I don't expect it, right? Like it's bad trades, but feel free. I mean, I don't know what rules certain leagues have, but now is the time if you want to do a trade before playoffs. Squeeze it in, right?
Yeah, definitely. Do you want any of my players, Ryan?
Let's see. Trippier, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure I can help you out in some
Ben
sense.
White for Trippier? That's way too much of.
We'll have some chats. Don't worry. But yeah, that's a great point. Definitely try to get those trades in as soon as possible. And if you're having any doubts or you're thinking about certain trades, definitely hit us up. We're more than happy to help. And if not us, our community will definitely give you feedback on those moves. Cool. So that's everything, I think, for league updates. So now what we'll do is take our halftime pint and we will be back after the break with our questions. So we'll see you in a bit. And we are back. Did you expect those results in the Champions League, by the way?
Yes and no. It's Atleti at home, so fine. They win 2-1. It's a close one. I expected it to be close. I think that can go either way. I expected Dortmund to put up more of a showing. So hopefully they do that in Germany.
Yeah.
And PSG Barcelona I thought was going to be fireworks, and who knows what happens.
Yeah.
Pretty much that.
Yeah. I thought Atleti could have possibly kept a clean sheet. Like I expected like a 1-0 there, but I didn't think Barca were gonna beat PSG at their own ground, to be honest.
True.
Yeah.
I was favoring the home teams today, yeah.
Yeah, agreed. But yeah, It's Champions League delivering yet again, man. It's gonna be a fantastic second leg for the quarterfinals next week.
Yeah.
Cool. So we've got some questions, man.
So, okay, I have one, right? And I'm going to throw it out before everybody else's.
Okay.
But did you get the feeling that Pep just started Rico Lewis just to prep for Champions League? It's like, let me just do this a month in advance. Throw off Ancelotti or Madrid into thinking Rico Lewis is now a nailed starter in my side. Like, he has literally not ever used Rico Lewis in this manner before, consistently. And then Champions League lineup comes out, boom. Like, not even light a day, right?
What was Rico deployed in like a attacking midfield position or something?
He wasn't used, I don't think.
Oh, in the Champions League, he wasn't used, but you're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
the Crystal Palace game. He's been deployed in that position before, though, no? Like in
No,
a
but he's
midfield
done it
position.
3 games in a row now, right?
Ah,
Like-
fair. Yeah.
And then he, like, to me, it's like he also hyped up that Vardiol injury more than it was.
Oh, that he definitely did, yeah.
Because, like, he took him off at half time. He made it seem, oh, this is so bad. And, like,
And then
Oh,
Vardiol
the
just
guy's
scores a
fine.
screamer.
yeah, like, the guy's fine. Making it seem as though Rico Lewis is going to have to play all kind of rubbish.
So should I expect the opposite now that the City admin has said that Foden's fully fit?
I think Foden's fine, but, like, it wouldn't surprise me that he's going to throw Rico Lewis back in Prem and then actually use him in the next Champions League game. Just to, like, oh, they're on to me now. Let me actually use him. Like, some rubbish.
Yeah, it's it's a great point, like talking about like these Champions League fixtures, all this rotation. Like a lot of top managers would be owning assets from the top teams, right? Liverpool, who are in Europe as well, City, Arsenal, and we're starting to see rotation. Like, I mean, look, Kiwior is no longer a nailed option now for teams, right? And he was absolutely flying. So, yeah, you're really, really going to need that flexibility. And again, with the trade that you suggested, throwing out Haaland for Palmer, it's fantastic because I think you can fully expect Haaland to be benched again for the rest of the season if they're going to go all the way in the Champions League, right? But Palmer, no European football, like he's going to be nailed. So it's the same thing with Bruno as well. So I do definitely think, again, we should stress that maybe it is definitely time to trade out these assets that are in European football as well. Obviously, be sensible about it. Don't just like take any willy-nilly option that you get. But yeah, chase the upside. Chase the fixture players as well. I mean, obviously, confirm whether or not your league uses double game weeks because not all leagues do. I think Ross is in a league that doesn't utilize double game weeks and stuff like that. So yeah, with that mindset, look at the teams that have the most fixtures left and maybe make those trades based on that as well. So, yeah. Cool. So we'll start with our first question from K.Scan, who has the same image as Ben Chickens. I thought this was a Ben Chickens question when I saw that avatar.
I didn't actually pick that up. Ooh.
I don't think K.Scan has asked us a question before. It looks like a new name. So welcome to the Discord. So his question is, Jesus for Ben White. I have Jesus. My other forwards are Isak, Wissa, Huang. I have 2 defenders like Tarkowski and Robinson. And 3 that I swap based on matchups: Soufal, Konate, and Maguire. Okay, so his third defender, he's rotating between Soufal, Konate, and Maguire. So basically he was offered Ben White for Gabriel Jesus. What are you doing there, Ryan?
Yeah, I would take that. I want Ben White over Jesus just because I think he rotates too much. Havertz seems to have that number 9 spot nailed. I don't expect every game for either of them, but I do expect a bit more playing time for Ben White.
Yeah.
And I don't like the defenders that he listed out. Like, you can rely on Robinson. Like you mentioned, Tarkowski's form has dipped. He's not that reliable anymore. So I'd even bucket Tarkowski in the rest of the defenders there. And it's like you play either of those as necessary. Whereas
Yeah.
White and Robinson, you can roll out consistently.
It's mad to think that Ben White has a better chance of getting a clean sheet than Jesus does having a goal or an assist right now.
Yeah.
And you're a Ben White owner in one of your leagues, right? So you're speaking from experience at the moment.
Yeah, I think he's like probably a top 8 defender. If I can't, I mean, I want to say 7th, but I can't remember what I checked last time.
Like, of all players for the season so far.
All players for the season, yeah. I think
he's actually 7th best defender.
Yeah.
It's crazy that Trent is 6th and hasn't played football in eons.
I know, right? But Robinson's above both, right?
Yeah, and
So it
Tarkowski
highlights
all the way
exactly.
at the top.
Yeah.
Shit, I just realized I have both top defenders in DPL and I'm nowhere near the top of the league. Like,
Look at top mids, yo. It's even more trippy.
top mids. Well, I mean Saka, Foden, Bruno.
Right, but look at the owner of both. And also not near the top of the league.
Yeah, true. Maybe forwards is where it's at, man. You want
Right.
something?
Darwin and Holland.
Yeah. Cool. So our next question, do you want to take that one?
Sure. The next one is from Pascal Gross's fan account. So this is Prash, right?
Yeah.
So he says, when I love this question, by the way. When you're out with friends and family during your game week, how often do you keep checking live score, sofa score, or any other app? And do they get irritated that you're always on your phone?
Oh, yes. My sister definitely hates it. It's easier with my brother-in-law and my cousin's husband because we're both in like an FPL mini league. So if there's goals, assists, clean sheets, that sort of stuff, they actually do kind of care about it. Maybe not as much as I do. But now, like, especially because, like, the thing is, I feel like unless you've played Fantrax or you've experienced Fantrax, it's hard to describe why I need to be stuck on my phone for a good, like, 20 to 30 minutes while I flip through leagues, flip through lineups, flip through who's starting, especially when Fantrax doesn't work sometimes. Like, it can be absolute chaos. So now, like, when I'm with family or, like, a group of people, I need to, like, publicly announce and be like, guys, I'm not going to respond or talk to you for like the next, let's say 15-20 minutes. I just give me a few minutes, I'll be right back. Like, I either need to walk away from everyone, like kind of just do my thing really, really quickly and put it away, or like, yeah, it's gonna be bad news bears for the rest of the day, because then I will be obsessing over my score and be like, shit, it's doing poorly. But in terms of like checking it, like how it's scoring regularly, I don't do that. I think now, like, I put my players in and I maybe check it at like halftime, right? I'll maybe check it 2 to 3 times maximum during that actual day or something, and then we kind of chat to each other, right? Because you look at certain assets, I look at certain assets, and then we kind of have a good summary, I think, of how the game week has gone, because you'll be like, oh, this player has massively ghosted in the first 45 minutes, etc. So yes, family hates me, but I love this game.
I feel like it's just a question that a lot of managers who love to seek solace in, like they just want company, right? Like, we all are addicts in some way.
Yeah.
Like, I check the scores consistently when I'm at home.
Yeah.
Like, constantly I'd have a stream up or one of the games up on TV, but my hand is in my phone, just on Fantrax or on SofaScore, and I'm looking for every alert on my phone more than I'm looking at the game in front of me.
Yeah.
So I actually prefer when it's just like one kickoff in that time slot, so I can just focus on that game.
Yeah.
But it is a problem. Most of the people that know me, I just upfront about it. But when it's like you're out with people who don't know that well, I just blame it on work, because it's so complex to explain that I have to set a draft lineup. It's like, guys, I just need like 15 minutes, like you said, to sort out something for work. Like, and to some degree, doing the pod is work, right? So like, it's not a lie.
See, that's what I thought, because I use that excuse as well. Like, when I tell my family, oh yeah, I'm just doing something for work, and then my sister is the only person that picks up on it, and she's like, "You doing work or podcast week?" And then, oh fuck, you gotta admit podcast week, and it's just like, that's not work. Like, just
But
stop
it's
it.
still work.
It is work, right?
And you know what's really bad about it too? So like being in Trinidad, the time zone doesn't help, especially after daylight savings. So deadlines these days are like 6 a.m. on a Saturday for FPL.
Yeah.
So I wake up maybe half an hour before that. But then you get to the FPL lineup, and then you have to set your other teams
Yeah.
until lineups actually drop, and then you have to set your Fantrax teams. So it's like from 5:30 till probably 7:30, where kickoff actually starts. It's like non-stop just checking lineups, checking news, talking before the game even starts, and then the distraction hasn't actually even started yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So luckily nobody else is usually up at that time. Like, why would they do that to themselves on a Saturday morning?
Yeah.
But then the moments like you're on a trip or something, and like you have to wake up early, and like everybody else is frantic and getting about, like ready to get out of the house. I'm sure I will be having my shower and whatever, but like in between, it's like you grab your phone. It's like, did I set my lineup right? Like, oh man.
Yeah, and the thing is, with Fantrax as well, you have to kind of wait till kickoff, because you could easily get an injury during the warm up and shit like that, man. And
Yeah,
you don't
like-
want to get stuck with that starting player in your squad, right? I mean, hopefully and luckily, like, we are part of leagues that kind of are a bit, easygoing in that sense.
Understanding,
So yeah, like everyone has kids and stuff like that, and they're busy, different time zones and stuff. So we are quite accommodating with stuff like that. But yeah, man, it's pretty bad. But one thing though, do you not kind of hate that you're not actually watching the football and you're so obsessed about the scores and the metrics and the numbers?
So the difference is now, it's similar to you. I still like check all the time, but if I really want to pay attention to a game for whatever particular reason it is, I can put down the phone. Before
Yeah.
I couldn't, now I can, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Or if things are just going really badly, I can put it down, walk
Yeah.
away, just focus in front on the screen. Like, let's see what's going on here. And yeah, even if it's the game I'm watching and I'm up against Salah and Salah scores, like, it'll annoy me more, but I'm not going to just grab my phone and rant about it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to let it sit. And the emotions I'm not as volatile with the emotions anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just numb to the pain. Maybe it's just because I'm having a good season. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's been a few seasons like this. Like, we've gone through the pain so many times now. It's just whatever, right? Like, don't let it ruin your day. It's just a game.
Yeah, exactly. Like Ross says, have fun.
Exactly. But I do think it's important for the people around me to know my habits.
Yeah.
Especially like the girl I'm seeing or my family or something, because it's annoying on a Saturday morning, and I know I am annoying on a Saturday morning.
Yeah. No, I completely get it. I'm the same way. Disclaimer. Like,
Correct. And like,
just brace yourself. Like,
and if I'm up for like, if I have a full day, like I'm hiking or something, I'm not going to let my phone distract me at all. I
Yeah.
set my lineups, and then that's it. I'm out and I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah.
I don't have to check my phone on those things.
I think best thing to do is plan all your activities around that 3 p.m. kickoff, when like 7 or 8 games kick off. Like, most of the gaming is done, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
So Abiokez has a follow-up question. So he wants to know, what kind of reactions have you got when you were out with other people and you had to explain that you would have to take your phone for a few minutes because PL lineups were announced, and you would now have to check them and make adjustments to your fantasy lineup. So I mean, he basically asked what we kind of talked about.
Yeah, I mean, so the worst thing for me now is like those Friday kickoffs. I'm still in work at those times, right?
Yeah.
Like, it'll be like a 2 p.m. kickoff for me. Typically, I would have nothing that important on a Friday afternoon, but maybe once every 2 months, there can be an important meeting going on. I will not want, sorry, it's a 3 p.m. kickoff, but I will not want to miss that like time slot to make sure my team is set. So I will pull out my phone in that important meeting, and I can miss something important. I could even have been asked to like address something, and it'll be like, "Oh, sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Can you repeat that?" If it's virtual,
Yeah.
or if it's in person, it's just like, "Oh, I'll have to get back to you on that one." Like, I'll have the team look into it. We don't have the response right now, but if anybody was just paying attention and they looked at my screen and they saw I wasn't just taking notes on my phone, but actually doing other stuff on my phone,
Yeah.
it would be a bad look.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I've done this thing where I will set an alarm like a minute or two before lineups drop, and then go to the bathroom or something for a few
yeah.
minutes, right? So that way you don't have to deal with people's reactions. You kind of have privacy to yourself. Like, no one's gonna question why the hell are you going to the bathroom, whatever. But I guess if they hear, a constant alarm and then bathroom visit, it's gonna be it's like, okay, we know what you're doing, like at this point, sort of thing, right? But I feel like that there's ways to kind of go about it respectfully as well. So either disclaimer or find some privacy, sort of thing. I think is the best ways we found. So cool. Next question then.
So Draft Espresso is the next question. I'll skip the other stuff he said, but you know what? It's funny. He like two managers at least have said like their wife calls it this stupid game or this stupid soccer thing or this stupid football thing. Like, and then one manager said he actually roped his wife in and like all her friends to like actually play fan tracks. And now they discuss it and they like have bands, and that's sick.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
But anyway, Draft Espresso's question is when you have multiple teams, you often have some of the same players, but sometimes some different. So the balance of each team is a bit different. He finds himself making lineup errors when he's taking out or leaving a player in on one team. He automatically does the same for his next team, not considering the different balance. Any tips on staying objective in this kind of situation?
So I would say if like there's tools out there that you can access, like for example the Draft Society toolkit or whatever that they've built. If you don't know what to do or how to kind of line up, you can always plug your team into there, and it kind of offers you like what's the optimal lineup, who's the best grabs, best drops and stuff, so you can do that. But I think other than that, my main thing would just be having the sounding board, talking to other managers, talking to your friends, again being in the Discord, dropping like polls, and we've got different channels and stuff to help you sort that out, right? But I think I've been in a similar sort of position as well, right? Where if I have the same asset across several leagues, and let's make it a bit more realistic in the sense where you're streaming a defender, let's say, right? Because obviously you're going to be starting your Brunos and your Palmers and all that. Like, you're not second guessing that stuff. But like streaming defenders, I do understand like wanting to play the same defender across all leagues, because if you get it right, fucking it's gonna be the best feeling ever, right? Best feeling times 5 or whatever, like in my case with 5 leagues. But it can also go terribly wrong if it does, and you do all of that. So, and the third thing is like hedging as well. It's like, shit, I started him here, but I didn't start him here. Why did I do that, sort of thing? So that's a very, very tricky one, man. I think when it comes down to that, if you're really kind of trying to, dissect it, I would say maybe look at your opponent that you're facing in each of those leagues as well, to see if like maybe it's a good matchup in that sense, right? What if you guys have defenders from opposite teams and stuff like that? So man, that's a great question. That's a real head scratcher to find the perfect solution, I think, to that dilemma.
Yeah, I don't think there is one.
Yeah,
I mean, different strokes for different folks, but basically everything you said is applicable. I think I do. For example, I own Barkley in all my Fantrax leagues. I own Bowen in most. I own Doughty in most. And this week is a dilemma. Do I want to play both Barkley and Doughty in the 2 leagues I own in both? Probably not, actually. I'm going to sit Doughty in one. I'm going to sit Barkley in the next. And just, at least once I'll get it right. And then once I'll get it wrong. Or maybe I get it wrong in both times. But the hedging is definitely something that comes into my mind. And maybe it shouldn't as much as, like, I think it's more relevant to look at your opponent, look and see what they have. That's more important to me. So
Yeah.
that's point one. Like, if I'm debating on a defender, or if my opponent happens to have like a Luton asset, like they have Doughty and I have Barkley, I'll play Barkley just because he's playing Doughty.
Mm.
I think it's very relevant when it comes to streamers too. So I like to punt.
Yeah.
I feel like I'll quicker take a chance in a league where I'm doing better in, which is bad.
Yeah.
Because I just know I have like the lead there, and it's more to drop if I get it wrong.
Mm.
But the buffer or the lead makes me feel like I have this wiggle room. Like it just makes it more allowable. Whereas if I'm actually fighting and trying to get into playoffs or trying to get that last minute win kind of thing, I won't play around. I won't like try to punt. I'll go for a reliable steady Eddie type asset or somebody I could get off the free agency. In that sense, I think league position comes into play a lot more than just grabbing the same asset. But I do it a lot too. I grab the same asset in multiple leagues when I can. What happens, or what I am happy happens, is 3 of my leagues are very active.
Mm.
So when a lineup drops, and I'm going to get this asset in on the league that I care most about first, so that'll be DPL to maintain my lead. By the time I grab him in DPL and I go to Bash, for example, he's gone.
Yeah.
And like I don't have to sit through that decision and that pain. Like,
Yeah.
thankfully, someone else was on it in Bash, and I don't have that decision. But it would really suck to get him all in like the same league, and then it just goes so bad.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so hopefully sometimes the universe takes that decision away from you, is I guess what I'm saying.
Which works as a blessing sometimes, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you mentioned a fantastic point I want to reiterate is knowing or remembering which league is worth taking the risk in, right? So it's like you said, if you have a bit of a gap, a healthy lead, then maybe you can afford to kind of fuck around. But in leagues where you have like must wins, just sometimes making the bland decision is the best decision.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. And fantasy football is that's how this game is. Like, it sucks to make the boring decision, but listen, winning is not boring. So
It is definitely not.
All right. So we move on to our final question, and again by Mr. Naru. Loves throwing up these random fucking questions, and we love them as well. But his question is, how many randomers pictures do you think you've appeared in the background of over the course of your life?
Man, is this like...
Where does he come up with these? Like,
I don't know. Who was it? Was it Draft Espresso or Draft Pie? Someone just said right after, is like, dude, you're insane. He does not want to be in his head at all. Like,
I would love to be in Naru's head. I think for like a couple of hours. I don't know if I could last the full day.
he said, "You're a madman." That's literally what he said. It is an amazing question. I mean, I would have to approach it analytically, and I'd have to like sit down and like think and do a population and like things. I mean, I don't know, man. This is so...
Do you think maybe you appear once per 2 weeks?
I think it depends on what you're doing. So like, if you're on vacation and you're in like a tourist spot,
Yeah.
oh,
that should be like hundreds, no?
Right? So, like, just think about if you're by the Eiffel Tower and the amount of pictures going off, and like,
Yeah.
you're just in them. Like, even as if you're a speck, you're there.
Yeah. It depends on the destination as well then. Yeah.
Exactly. Whereas if I'm just doing my day-to-day stuff in the office, I don't expect anybody to be taking pictures of me. Even at my football game, like, rarely do we have spectators, like,
Yeah.
onlookers. But any kind of event, It's when I start to count it, and I guess it's how frequently you do an event or you go on a trip or something.
Yeah. So I'd say maybe in a year, possibly 200 to 300. Is that crazy to see?
I think way more. I think it's like over 10,000.
Oh man, I wish there was actual like proper statistical data to
Right.
back this up, to like actually take gambles on this. Like,
So like think of this, right? Like you go to a party or like a Trinidad a carnival fete,
yeah,
right? People that have drones in the sky and just taking
Yeah.
shots of it. Like you're in that.
yeah, yeah. Security
Or-
cameras count, right?
Sure. Probably. I mean, picture though, right? Not video. So
Yeah. Yeah, damn. That is actually mental. Yeah, I think we might have to sit down and do some math behind this, mate. Like, I'm actually curious now.
so what I'm most curious about now is like, what is Mr. Nauru's profession?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Or what does he do in his vacation or spare time? Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's great. All right, awesome. So those are the questions, and that is the pod. That's all we had planned. Bit of a quick one, which is good. Game week is just a couple of days away. How are you feeling? How are you shaping up? Any final thoughts, Ryan?
I feel good on paper,
Hmm.
but like you said, it's rotation central these times. Like we just came through Champions League. Luckily, no one injured. But Bowen, I think what's his name? Moisey said he's not traveling for Europe. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if you come back and see Foden rested, like you said.
Hmm.
KDB didn't play Champions League or didn't play the whole game or whatever. I don't know if he came on, but he has a good shot of making it, right? Like,
Hmm.
so who knows? It can look great on paper and it can all go to shit.
Yeah.
So just have fun, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll say the same thing. Have fun. Come join our Discord and try to do some trades, guys. Throw out some crazy trades. Regardless of you're winning, you're losing, just try to have as much fun with the remainder of your season. Because as soon as the season's done, we're into summer. You're going to be missing fan tracks and fantasy football and all that sort of stuff. But yeah. Nothing else. Take it game week by game week, and yeah, that's it. Come join the Discord again. Final
Yeah.
plug. Cool. All right, bro. I'll catch you later. See you soon. See you when I
Alright.
see you. Peace.